dog in me. One must die, chase the cat.
Welcome to Posse Presents. I am here tonight with Amy Saunders.
Hi.
And Callie. She's home. Welcome home, little girl.
Thank you. Thank you for helping look for me.
You know, you had such an army behind you. It was really awesome.
There was like 174 people that were volunteering to look for her at one time.
And
Yep.
it turns out that like the only real sightings
Was our friend here.
Yeah.
That was the one sighting I had in the whole 8 months that was confirmed it was her, and that was the first 2 days. And then after that, nothing.
That's
Despite
crazy.
all our efforts, nothing, all winter.
That's crazy. I mean, she went missing on September 19th. Briefly give us all the rundown of how that happened again,
Well,
for anyone who's not familiar.
For anyone who's not familiar, my son, we have a big fenced-in yard. My son left the gate open one day when he went for school, and my daughter couldn't see the gate was open, and she was homesick, and she opened the door, and this one wandered away, and that was the last time we saw her, and just frantically looking for her and putting up flyers all over the place, and there was dog recovery groups involved, and
Yeah, I mean, you had like
all
a
over
tracker for a
Facebook.
while there.
I
mean,
had
there was
a
nothing.
canine search team came and they tracked her. Well, they tracked her to Fulton Park, right where John said that he saw her, and they tracked her to Fulton Park and lost her scent, and that was the end of it. And that was the end. That was the last. I trapped up there, and just she was gone out of the area.
And when exactly? Like, was that like in the first week? The first?
That was probably going into the second week. By the time I got them down here, they were coming from New Hampshire, and that's going into the second week. The first week was just driving around, putting up flyers, going on Facebook, just driving, stopping, asking everyone, and
Yeah, I remember your
getting the word
posts.
out.
You were like staked out at all hours.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you were frantic, and I certainly, I would be. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's like missing a child,
Yeah.
and then not knowing is the worst, you know. And then John said that he had seen her out. Everyone said, someone has her, don't worry about her. I said, not her.
Yeah, no.
So I knew she was out there by herself, and she was
And the
scared,
crazy
so.
part was when I put up Callie's missing poster that first night. John's sitting like right where he said, "I saw that dog today." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
This has been a whole twist. This whole story has been bizarre twists like that. Just crazy. Just
And
the
then
way
I had him call you like when I was off the air, and you went running right back out.
I was running through Fulton Park screaming her name. I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that at the time. So I was running through, after I hung up with you, I was driving around your street, running through Fulton Park, yelling. I had a bunch of people that started coming into Fulton Park trying to help me look for her. And nothing.
And you know, it's crazy because the things that we've learned, all of us, you through your search for Callie, and you know, others of us who have been involved in any lost dogs, you learn it's not the thing to do to run out and
You
call
have no
their name.
idea,
You scare
though.
them. Yeah, you do, because your instinct is, hey, come home, and you're like screaming their name.
And
like
you can't figure out why they wouldn't come to you. Like I thought, if she hears me calling Callie, it's mommy, she's going to come running to me. But just the opposite.
They go into this survival mode, and it's
they bolt. They don't know
crazy.
anyone.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yep.
But I can't believe she's here. She's so. It is. It's like amazing.
I thought I would never see her again.
Well, I was going to ask you. I mean, you know, how, especially with no sightings.
I didn't know what happened. Everyone kept telling me someone had her.
How did you not give up hope?
I don't know. Down deep inside, I still had hope. But I was getting very discouraged. But still, I could never stop looking. Every day, no matter where I went, because I drive for work, I would look and look. And I'm still doing it. I have to remind myself now that I don't need. I still do it. I go by Fulton Park and I'm looking. You know, and I gotta remember, Callie's home. Callie's home.
It's become such a habit.
You can't just.
You can't
give
just
up.
turn
you can't
it off.
Yeah, you just can't give up. I mean, I would have looked for her for the next 30 years, or you know what I mean? However long I thought she would live, I just never would have stopped looking for her. You can't.
No.
It's like a missing child. How do you just forget they're out there?
Yeah.
You know?
And the worry, and it was such a cold winter, and all the snow we had. I mean, you must have been sick.
I was. And I knew, and everyone said, don't worry, someone has her. I said, no one's got her. I don't know how I knew she was in the woods by herself the whole time. I knew she was. And I was right.
And we were just saying, just before we came on the air, I mean, she's very timid, and she's a little quirky, and that's probably what kept her out of harm's way, because she wouldn't go to anybody. She wouldn't.
She wasn't out near the cars. She wouldn't go near anyone. She wouldn't go near other animals. Yeah, and I knew. Yeah, I knew she was still going to be in the woods. I knew she was by herself. I knew that. I knew that much. You know, no matter what people kept telling me, I said, she's.
Yeah, and you know, that's a lot of months for you, to be on your own, you silly girl.
With no hair, basically. You know.
Yeah. out in the elements. Oh, you're bored with it all, are
Yeah,
you?
she's
That was a
yawning.
yawn.
Well, I mean, she's a survivor, though. I mean, when she was picked up by the Waterbury Pound, she was too young to be away from her mother, dying on the side of the road. And they picked her up, and she was a rescue once before, you know, and she overcame that, and she's still going strong. She survived this winter, you know. She's got that instinct in her, so.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's
baby.
amazing. That's kudos to you, little girl.
She's a
She's
tough
just
little
sitting
girl.
here with her eyes kind of closed. She's so content.
You good girl.
It's a
See if we can get her going crazy.
it's a beautiful thing.
She's a good little girl.
Really, she stayed in the same area from what you know.
Yeah. Basically, she went from my house. The trackers tracked her across the street to Fulton Park, and where we actually found her was probably a half a mile up from Fulton Park. So, and that's what they say. Usually 1 to 3 miles a dog this size.
Yeah.
So I had canvassed all those areas. I mean, the area that she was in, I drove through there every day. I mean, we all did, but that's the area we were looking in.
Yeah.
And just if you don't hit the timing right, then you're not going to
Exactly, and they say, of course, I'm sure, you know, dawn and dusk.
Oh, I
you
went
were
out
out
garbage
there.
mornings.
Yep.
I went out early morning. I went out at night, and then I would have sightings, and I would jump in the car and rush up there to Hill Street, and it was never her, never
Yeah.
her. 6 or 7 times that would happen. In snowstorms, it would happen. I'd jump in the car, never her. But she was right around the corner.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So close yet so far.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, all the pictures that people were posting. Is this Callie? Is this Callie? All these dogs that were
Yeah.
picked up
Are
in
you
the
sure
pounds.
it's not her? You
yeah.
sure? I'm like,
you can't make it be her.
I know. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not
Yeah,
her.
as
I mean, I
much-
would know her immediately.
Yeah, I mean, as much as you would want it to be her, you can't make it be her.
I knew she
and-
would never show up in the pounds. I
But-
just knew. I knew
But
she was
you
alone.
you had a great deal of people, you know,
I can't
just
believe
keeping every time, like, because you had the group page on Facebook, so you know there's all the notifications, and I would always look to see what was going on. Is it this dog? Is it that dog? I mean, you had a
Oh, the
lot of people keeping their eyes open for
I
her.
still have a lot of people that are involved. They're still commenting and messaging and like trying to help. And it's like, it's amazing. Oh my God, the people that came out of the woodwork to help with her. Oh, I get messages, pictures, people would video dogs they saw and send them to me. I was getting, you know, strangers sending me videos on my phone, and
it was just never her.
unbelievable. Just never her.
It's amazing.
Yep.
She's so content. It's so awesome to see that she's just so content.
She's always been really quirky and skittish, and she's actually better now than what she was when she left.
Really?
She hates my sister, and she was actually glad, like I told you, she was actually glad to see my sister when she got home.
So she is happy to be home.
She's
She knows her
very,
place now.
Very happy to be home. I can take her in the car with me now for rides and stuff, and before she was too skittish. She was very nervous.
Yeah, so of course now if you take her out and about, you have to be extra careful to keep her collar
yeah.
tight
Oh,
and a
yeah.
harness, and
That's why I'm
you know.
carrying her everywhere. I'm afraid she'll back up and slip out of the collar, so
Yeah.
my back is a little sore, but I'm carrying her a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. Trust me, Amy didn't hesitate. She didn't want to come in the door. She's like, oh nope, scooped her up.
Yeah, I'm carrying you. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, and you know,
I was afraid she'd back out of the collar.
I'd be very, very afraid myself, but yeah, I mean, but see, Nancy's suggesting a microchip. Of course, the
But
microchip
she wouldn't
is
go
only,
near anyone
yeah.
for 8 months. Yeah, not even a collar. Yeah, she left the yard without a collar on because I don't put them on in the yard because the dog's rough. They play too rough.
Right.
So everyone's like, oh, she's got to have a collar, a microchip. I'm like, she wouldn't go near anyone
Yeah,
for 8 months.
if you can't scan somebody for the if you can't scan the dog for the microchip,
Yeah.
it's kind of pointless.
Even a
you
collar
know?
would have
yeah.
been. Yeah, it's like she needs to put a collar on. I'm like, she's not going to go near
Yeah.
anyone to look at her collar.
Yeah,
so.
if she had her tags on and a collar, nobody
Nobody
get
would have had
close
the
enough.
chance.
Yeah.
And she possibly could have gotten hung up on something. So.
Yeah. And you know, you see about a lot of these dogs who go run away with the leash on, and then you know they
makes
just
me
like
nervous.
yeah, it's so endless the possibilities
yep.
of the ways that they can get hurt.
Yeah, getting tangled up
Yep.
on something. Yep.
They can't get away from a predator. You know, there's like so many things that could go wrong, and
So it's good that she didn't have it on.
in the end. Yeah, because
out
it
to
would have
be a
made a
good thing.
difference because she wouldn't have gone to anybody.
Wouldn't have helped her any.
Not at all.
No, and that's how I knew it was her when I got the call that there was a sighting, because the guy said, I can't see this dog going near anybody. And I said,
That's her.
That's exactly what I said. What did you say? I said, that's her. It's Callie. I knew it right. I
Yeah.
knew right away it was.
So, all right, you went from the first week without a valid sighting, which happened to be John,
Yeah. Nothing.
to the beginning of April.
To the beginning of April.
That's a-
April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
I got a phone call.
Okay.
And it was a man on the phone, and he said, yeah, I'm calling about your flyer. I think your dog is in my backyard, but she's been living in the woods back here. And I said, okay. I said, does she have a curly tail? Yeah, touches her back. I said, really? He goes, yeah, a little white on her chest with a curly tail. And I said something about getting close to her. He goes, oh, no one's getting close to this dog. And I said, I'll be right over.
Yeah.
I knew it was
Your
her.
heart must have been racing.
Yep, I knew it was her. So I said, well, I'm just going to take a drive up there. Within 20 minutes, I turned the corner, and she was standing in, I'm a hospice nurse, she was standing in my old patient's front yard.
Wow.
I turned the corner, and she was standing in her front yard.
Wow.
And I put,
yeah.
I rolled down the window, and she was as close to me, like, you know, and I rolled down the window. I said, Callie? Because I know, you know your name. And she went, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and then she bolted. She went back into the woods. She was using my friend's yard as a choke point to come and go through the woods to get out into the streets.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
So, how did that feel?
I was in shock. Everyone's like, oh, you're so calm. I'm like, I'm in shock. I just was, you know, and then I'm thinking, will I get her in the trap? Will I ever get her? What if I can never, what if I never see her again?
Now what? Was this like the last time I ever get to see her?
Yeah, that was my main worry. I wasn't excited at the time. I mean, I was excited, but I was more worried. I said, now what? What if she bolts out of this area and I can't get her?
Yeah.
So it was very stressful.
So then what?
And then I contacted just people I know that were involved in the initial, the guy that came out with the night vision goggles. I contacted him, and I said, you aren't going to believe who I saw today. And he says, who? And I said, Callie. And he called, the phone rang right away, and he said, what? We have to get a trap. And, you know, we established a feeding station for about a week first to get her used to coming into Angela's yard. And sure enough, she was coming. I could see her. She was drinking the water and she was eating the food. So we did that for a little less than a week. And then we put the trap in there, but we didn't open the trap. We just, because you know how skittish she is, we just put it there closed to get her used to coming in. Baby steps. Yep. And I would go over there to put food out and bait the trap, and I would see her in the woods watching me. So I walked up one day and I looked in the woods and she was walking toward me. So I lied down on the ground and she lied down on the ground and I could see her. I could see her through the woods. And that was, so then I said, this is it. I'm baiting the trap right now. And she was in it within an hour.
Really?
I left the area and the woman whose house the trap was in her backyard, she called me and she said, Amy, Callie's in the yard. She's going toward the trap. She's got one leg in.
Oh my God, you were on the phone when it happened?
The trap's closed. Yep. So I jumped in the car. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was funny because it turned, like I said, it was a hospice patient's house that I had been to years before. And when I saw her in the yard the first time, I said, that can't be Callie. That has to be this family's dog. So I got out of the car and I knocked on the door. And when the woman answered the door, I recognized her. I said, I took care of your mother. I was the hospice nurse. I said, do you have a little black dog? She said, no. I said, oh my God, it was Callie. So she, of course, was like, come on, put the trap in the yard. She was wonderful. She did everything she could, but she went out of her way to help. So she was making her garlic chicken. I mean, it was,
That's critical.
Cooking bacon with the windows open for me, frying chicken.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yep. She was
wow.
great. She was just absolutely great. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. You know, it's again the twists and the turns.
Yeah.
That could have been someone who would have said, you're on your own. Yeah.
Now the guy that called in, Mel, that called in the initial sighting, he saw the one last flyer that was in that area. He just happened to see it because he walks his dog. There was one, everyone was tearing down the flyers. There was one old flyer that was still intact, and he saw it. And he thank God he called, yeah. And every day after that he called. She's sitting in the backyard right now. She's here, she's there. Yeah, he would call me and give me updates every day. He'd see her.
That's amazing.
Yeah, everybody was.
I mean, this is truly like a miracle story for the way things just.
Everybody in that neighborhood was. It wasn't the nicest neighborhood in Waterbury, but the people were amazing.
Yeah.
And they kept her alive. She didn't even really. She maintained her weight.
So were they feeding her? Did they see her and were feeding her, or do you think
somebody really must have been feeding her? But I ran into an elderly woman as I was walking out of the woods one day, and I heard her yell, "Did you find your dog?" And I went back and talked to her, and she said, because I was thinking someone had to have had Callie all winter, and just recently she's shown up in this neighborhood.
Right.
The woman said, "Oh no, honey, I've seen her out in the snowstorms eating garbage." She said, "I've been trying to get her in all winter, trying to get her." This little elderly lady trying to call the little pit bull into her house. Didn't even know her, trying to call her in. And so she was throwing food out to her in the snowstorms and stuff. So
bless her soul.
Oh, yeah. So I went back. I brought Callie back after I called her. I said, "Look who's in the car." So she said, "I prayed for her every night. I prayed." Yep.
What a sweet lady. See, and you know, that could go either way, you know? People, oh my God, it's a pit bull.
Yeah, the little old lady trying to call her into the house. I
Yeah.
just thought that was the cutest thing. I tried to get her in. I said, oh, how funny is that?
That's amazing.
Yeah, the people in that neighborhood were great. They were
And the
amazing.
fact that there was the one flyer, what are
That
the
one flyer,
odds?
yeah, that one flyer. And he walks his dog, and he just happened to see it. Yeah.
Now, were a lot of your flyers still up? Because I know you said people were
Couple.
pulling them down early on.
Yeah, but I flyered that neighborhood really heavy because I just had a feeling.
Yeah,
Had
that's
a
where she
feeling
was.
That's where she was headed. Yeah, and most of them, when I drive now, I don't even see the one that he saw, so I don't know what he saw because there's like none. So I don't know what Mel saw. I have no idea. But
Well, you know, whether it was an apparition or it was really there.
that one strategically placed
Yeah.
flyer he walked by, and he said the only reason he looked at it because it was in color and it caught his eye.
Wow.
So
see,
that's
and there's-
Tammy DeJoseph. That was her and her husband that came up with the colored flyers.
colored flyers,
That made all
so-
the difference. Yep.
Yeah, bless their. Well, you know what? They stand out. They do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it makes it a lot easier. Yeah, okay, she's black and white, but any dog will look black and white in a
Yeah.
black and white
Yep.
poster.
So it really
you
stood
know?
out. Yep. That he said that's what made him look. You got lipstick on your nose.
Oh, I wonder whose lipstick that could be.
I think that. Yeah, I wonder, huh?
Did your mommy kiss you on the nose?
Yep.
Your mommy kiss you everywhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, she gets lots of kisses.
Oh, she's so beautiful. It's just, it's an incredible story. It really is.
I know. Especially using someone I knew's yard.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's.
that was the craziest
I mean,
part.
that is crazy. So really, within an hour of you knowing it was her, and putting the trap out there.
Within an hour of setting the
Yeah.
baiting the trap, she was in it. She went right in, no hesitation. I guess when
She
you're
was
out for
ready.
8 months, she was tired.
She
when I
was
was
ready.
seeing her in the woods, she would walk up and lay down, and she just looked. Yeah, she was really tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was ready. She was ready to come home.
As much as she had to have known it was you, she was probably just. She needed something to make it happen. You're so bored with the story, you little silly.
Well,
You made your
she,
mommy worry, you know.
Oh yeah. But now when the trap first closed and I rushed up there, as I was walking toward the trap, I was calling her name and she was acting like a wild animal. She was growling and I thought, oh boy.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
you know, being in the trap, that had to have
Scared
like
the
just
life out of her.
freaked her out, especially since she's, you know,
Yeah,
skittish.
scared
Yeah.
the life out of her. But I knelt down next to the trap, real close to her, and she literally was growling and she went. And then she stopped and she laid down. She let me pet her. She knew me instantly. And then every time I walked away after that, she cried and cried and cried.
Aw. Zach, how about if we get some of these pictures up that we have to show everybody? We've got Callie in the trap,
Yep, there's Calster.
and
That's Cindy Pelletier, dog's best friend.
oh, she's
She was-
amazing.
oh yeah, and that's.
So she was right there when you trapped her?
Oh, 10 people came. People came from everywhere. When I started calling people, they just came. Now, Cindy and her husband came because he had that poor man was trying to do housework and do work on the gutters, and Cindy dragged him out. You have to get over here right now, because they had the pickup truck, and we had to take her out of there in the trap.
Yeah.
So they came,
Yeah.
came from wherever they came from. People came from Farmington, Avon. There was 10 people that followed me back to my house to let her go.
So where did you, like, what did you do? Put the trap inside the house?
We put the trap in my backyard, which was all fenced in.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
And then we let her go, and she jumped out, and she ran up, and she jumped in her lawn chair and laid down.
Aw.
And that was the lawn chair was a picture of that was
Yep,
her
I was
picture.
going to say that was the picture,
She jumped in-
exactly.
she got out and she ran and she jumped right in her darn lawn chair. We were all like, oh my gosh, like nothing had ever
yeah,
happened.
like I'm home.
Yeah, like nothing had ever happened. It's okay, girl.
She's getting fussy.
Yeah.
And who are these people right here?
Oh, that is Angela in the middle. That's the woman who I took
Okay.
care of her mother when she had cancer. That's who we used her
That's her
yard.
house, yep.
And then that's Brian, the guy that came with the night vision goggles from the dog recovery group that helped
Okay.
me. He came and spent nights and nights in the woods looking for Callie.
And then this is Callie and
That's Callie and her
and her brother.
Merle. Yes.
How was it when they were reunited?
Like nothing ever changed. They were both just thrilled to see each other. She was ecstatic. My other dogs didn't really care, but she was so happy to see everyone. She went crazy. I introduced them one at a time, very slowly.
Right.
And her and Merle were tearing around the yard just like usual within like 2 minutes.
And you said he was the one who used to sit in the window looking
He
for
used
her.
to sit in the window and cry because they played.
Yeah.
They were closer in age than.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who's this
That's
reunion
my
with?
son. That's Damien and Callie. He greets her every morning like that. So that's them in the morning, huh, Cal?
So they're back to their old routine.
Yeah, he came down one morning and I let her out and he was, "Where's Callie?" I said, "She's just outside. Don't worry."
That's too funny.
Yeah, he loves you, huh?
So she had like no problem coming out of the trap, no problem being home, like just up on the lawn chair, like I'm home, that's it, I'm the queen again.
She went to the door and she scratched on the door to go in, yeah. And when Cindy pulled up into the front of the house with her in the trap, Cindy rode in the back of the truck with her, we pulled up in front of the house and she saw the house and started crying and putting her little feet up on the cage. Started,
And this picture right here, this is what I saw on Facebook. And I was like, oh my God. I went crazy.
I know. I never thought.
Because I don't know. I think I was here. Was this 6th of Saturday?
It was a Saturday.
Yeah. So I was here and I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw that. And I'm like, oh my God, John. You know, I was just like,
Yep.
I couldn't get like around Facebook fast enough to see what happened and
Yep.
look at and like, is this like for real? What happened? How did this happen?
That was like a minute after she was home. They just hanging out together, surveying the yard.
Like it never happened.
Yeah, like she'd never been
like
gone.
she'd never been gone.
Like never been gone.
That's
yeah.
so
well,
funny.
That's funny because when I get that picture of her in the trap, that's what I started sending people. I sent Brian,
Right, right.
that was involved in the initial search, and I started getting phone calls. Is this? I didn't say anything. I just sent the picture, and people were like, "Is this picture photoshopped?" I was getting all kinds of phone calls. Is that Callie?
Wow.
No, we didn't think we were going to see you again.
And this is her just chilling. Oh, that was
yeah. Yep,
a
that's her
second
greeting
ago.
Damien in the morning. Yep.
that one.
That's
yeah.
her just, yep, that's
Just
the week after. That was exactly a week later, the same time. She was lying on the porch instead of in the woods.
Now, how did she, we'll take the camera back, Zach.
Yes, we have.
How did she check out? I mean, obviously you took her to the vet.
Yep. Great. She was perfectly fine. The vet does not believe that she was out all winter.
Really?
She maintained, I mean, look at her. This is how she looked when she came home.
She looks great.
But she had ticks all over her, and we just washed her up with some Dawn, and she was great. The vet gave her some shots that she would have needed because she missed all that while she was
Right.
gone, and said she was fine.
That's amazing.
Yeah, said she was fine. Gave her some worming medication just in case, but
Right.
and the vet argued that this dog was not all winter long, and I said she was.
You have witnesses, yeah.
and she was covered with ticks and acting like a wild animal. I said, yes,
Yeah.
she was, yeah. And she said, somebody was feeding her. I said, yeah. So
Yeah.
she was great.
As
with
you
that.
found out, yes, somebody
Yeah.
was, and thanks be to God that
taking care of her. Yeah, trying to get her in the house and everything. But the vet, she did great at the vet, huh? You did good.
Now, is there any? Are you going to end up having to test her for Lyme disease?
She tested positive for Lyme. She was
Did she?
exposed to Lyme, so
Yeah.
she's taking doxycycline now. She's got to take it for about a month, and this, supposedly it'll knock it all out. But she wasn't hurt in any way. She was.
That's
It's a
just
miracle.
such a blessing. It really is.
I don't know how she did it. How'd you do it, girl?
She says,
do
"Because
it,
I'm
girl?"
one tough cookie, Mom."
She is a tough cookie. Yeah, she was fine. Like the vet didn't even believe me. I'm like, yeah, really.
Then did he know that she had been missing?
Yeah,
Or-
I said, I called her and I made the appointment. I said, my dog's been missing over 7 months. And then when I brought her in, she said, oh, come on. No, she has. This dog has not been out all winter. I said,
Yeah, I mean, she looks great.
Yeah, she might have put on a couple pounds, but there was no ribs showing.
Yeah, how many dogs put on pounds, or even maintain their weight when
She
they're out in the
maintained
wild?
her weight. She didn't have a rib showing when she came home. Nothing.
That's just
She was maybe
incredible.
2 pounds less. But she was a little chunk when she left,
Yeah,
so.
well.
I don't know if it held her over for 8 months, but she looked great. And people in that neighborhood, now I don't know why no one had called the pound. They said they've been seeing her for an extended period of time, but people just...
You know what the sad part is in Waterbury is there's
People
so
just-
many strays.
That's
and
what they
people
said.
are indifferent
That's
to
what
it.
they said. They said they didn't know she was missing.
Yeah.
Despite all my efforts, the word just
Yeah.
doesn't get out there. And they didn't know she was missing, and they said they see them constantly, which is
Yeah.
really sad. Hi.
I mean, there are certain areas that are like basically dumping grounds
Yeah. Come
for because you
Come on.
you ended up finding other animals in the process. I mean, you had
I certainly
some
did.
crazy adventures.
I certainly did. Yeah. And actually, when I was looking for her, I was seeing there was
Yeah.
another gray pit bull in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you talk to people, and oh yeah, we see him constantly. It's sad.
Yeah, it's the indifference that just doesn't help the animals any.
Yeah. Yeah, they never reported
They
it, yeah.
figure they belong to somebody.
Yep.
They figure that they have a home, that they belong somewhere.
Yep. Or just no one cares.
And that's the other side of
Yep,
it.
no
That
one cares.
oh, she's giving mommy's fingers kissies. She's too funny.
She's cute.
But
She's my
that's
sweetheart.
it's critical you know, if you see a dog in your neighborhood,
I try to tell
to
people that.
call somebody.
Yep.
I mean, the sad part is, yeah, you do put them at risk of going to the pound, and we know what
But at least
happens in
yeah.
any pound. But at least you make it that much easier if a dog is truly missing.
Yeah.
For someone,
People are looking for
yeah.
these dogs, and they're contacting the pound. I contacted the pound. So when I saw ACO ring, and I told him, and he goes, "How come no one called us? We would have told you right away. We knew we were looking for her."
Yeah, no.
Can I help you?
That's so cute. See, now she's feeling like the
Now
queen
she's
of the room.
warming up a little, yeah.
Yeah, she's feeling like queen of the room. And
She's warming up a little bit.
that's like so funny. She looks so content, and it does my heart such good to see it.
I still drive and look for her, though. It's crazy. I still drive and look for her.
That's a part of you that's going to take a while to shut down.
Yeah,
That really
I was driving
is.
by Tudor Street the other day, and I look up, you know, I look
Yeah.
all around. I drive by Fulton Park, I'm looking, and, you know.
Yeah, you see a rock, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, is that Callie?
Yeah, I know. Just because like the little searches that I've tried to contribute to, you go into your head goes into this crazy mode,
Yeah.
and like you start everything out of the corner of your eyes. Huh?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
up?
Is that her?
What's up?
I'm still
Yeah.
doing it. And then I'm like, oh, Callie's home. Oh, phew. Now, when we first got her home, she was great. She acted like nothing happened except for when night came. She must have been in that nocturnal mode.
Yeah.
Because she was running around all night long crying for like the first week. Now she doesn't do it, but we had to get her some medication from the vet because she was a busy little
Yeah.
lady when it came at night. For the first 3 nights she was home, I didn't get any sleep.
Well,
That's when she was on the move.
Animals can suffer from PTSD too.
Excuse us.
And I'm quite sure that she's got a little bit of that going on.
But I think and plus, they said that's when all the animals are out moving around.
Yeah.
And people would tell me, one of the men, Angela, that was in the picture, she said her husband would go to work at 1 in the morning, and he would run into her in the driveway every night.
Isn't that crazy?
So she was used to being up,
definitely
running around.
Yeah,
So
and
that's what she was doing in my house.
it takes time to reacclimate to
she's better.
to being home and to not
Yep.
being in that survival mode. Like I said, animals can suffer from PTSD too.
Oh, I'm sure she
and
does,
I'm sure that as happy as she is to be home, it's just like it's just a habit now, and
She doesn't
has
want me to leave her sight.
She has to wind down. She has to settle in.
Yep.
And
She does not want me to leave her sight. She's just always, if I go behind the door and I close it, I open the door and she's laying there looking at me. I do laundry. I should have sent you that picture.
Yeah.
She's got her head through the cat door.
Oh, that's too funny. All right, Amy, congratulations. Callie, welcome
Thank
home.
you so much.
We're going to say peace,
Peace
love. You
Love.
need 2 hands, Callie, and dogs.
and dogs.
And Callie.
And especially Calster.
Good night, everybody.